Hey, Dr. Pound here with HealBetterFast, and today we're talking about Dowager's hump or buffalo hump, which are both essentially a curvature or kyphosis in the upper part of the back or lower part of the neck that causes this forward head posture, this curve. All right, and the reason that's important is when you look at the spine here, it's got normal curves to it. So there are normal curves, natural lordosis and kyphosis in the spine. However, when you have hyperkyphosis or extra curvature in the spine, it can lead to problems such as back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain. And you can see as this starts curving that it's going to put pressure on these nerves, ligaments, as well as discs that are all going to take the extra weight or pressure of the head. So what we find is that when the head is over the shoulders or the ears are lined up with the shoulders when you're looking sideways, good posture helps keep a healthy balance of the head and the neck. And therefore, the full weight of your head can be held up for longer periods times by the muscles, tendons, ligaments, and even bones in the neck. When you're in this normal posture of your head back over your shoulders, your neck or the cervical spine acts like a spring, like a C curve, and helps balance the head over without taking that extra stress. When your head comes forward from your shoulders, all of a sudden the muscles through the trapezius muscles, those muscles in the back of your neck, are having to hold on for longer periods, and the muscles in the front of the neck become shortened over time. And over time, this leads to accelerated breakdown of the discs in the spine that are taking and absorbing that extra pressure, since the whole spine isn't acting like a shock anymore and absorbing that pressure. Therefore, you do see arthritis formation, bone spurs, and early onset degeneration in the upper part of the back, as well as the lower part of the neck with forward head posture. In addition, you can also get fatty deposits here in the upper part of the back as well due to that undue stress. So how do you undo all of that stress that's been accumulating over time? Well, I'm going to show you a few easy tips that you can do at home with simple devices to help try to correct that spine, that curvature in the spine over time. That will hopefully eventually help take a lot of stress off of that upper part of your back in that spine and help stretch the tightened ligaments and strengthen the muscles in the back to help reverse that Dowager's hump or that kyphosis that's happening in the upper part of the neck or in the upper part of the back or the lower part of the neck. All right, so here we go. Okay, here's the first tip for end of every day. You need to spend time in the opposite position to be able to stretch your spine in more of an extended position versus a flexed position. So how does that look like? Well, as a chiropractor, I spend a lot of time adjusting people. So I do bend forward to reach people, as well as sitting and listening to patients in the consult room. And so it's important for me to do the opposite at the end of the day. And my staff can attest, I'm very good at doing this during my lunch times or even at the end of the day at home. When I'm doing my notes, I will just sit there on the bed, on my stomach in an extended position with my back in extension, and then I'll just work on my notes straight from here. That way, I'm actually getting some therapeutic benefit of my head being in extension or in the backwards position instead of flexed forward looking down. And this takes a lot of and eases a lot of the tension I'll have at the end of the day from a forward head position. And so this is simple. At the end of the day, you can read a book, you can look at your phone, you can break out an iPad and get some work done if you need to, but do it in the opposite position that you spend most of the day in, that flex position. This will help stretch the ligaments in the front of your neck and help strengthen the muscles in the back of your neck as well. So even though I'm still getting stuff done, my muscles in the back of the neck are working to bring my shoulders, my head, my upper back into more neutral or even an extended position. This has done wonders for a lot of my patients and is really, again, an important part of my day every day to make sure I spend some time in extension. All right, so if you've incorporated that first tip, there's a few other things that you can do at home as well. One thing that I do have in my office is this very dense foam pillow, and it's more of a orthopedic support because it doesn't give away. It's not soft like a pillow, but to put in the back. And then I have my patients lie on their backs and slowly bring the head up and back and open up the chest. This again stretches all of the tightened ligaments in the front, puts the spine into the opposite position to stretch the ligaments on the front of my spine, as well as spend some time allowing those muscles in the back to shorten and decrease in length, and really help push everything back into a proper alignment or proper curvature, or at least the opposite of what I spend most of the day, or most people spend most of the day in this position, right? Now it's important that if you find one of these, that you don't go too far in extension when you're starting out. For instance, if you do have that dowager's hump and you try lay back on this, your head will stay right here. It won't lay back. And so you may not be able to start with such an aggressive reverse curve type support. So if you're trying to start more gradually, you can start with like a tennis ball, or I use lacrosse balls because they offer a little more support, and you'll stick that right in the upper part of the back, and you can lean against a wall, or you can just lay right against a bed. And again, that's pushing that hump part, that part of the spine back up and in with gradual pressure, and then just bringing my arms out to the side to help stretch those ligaments in the front and shorten the muscles and tension on the back. And then you can increase that with a pillow. You can roll up a towel and put it again behind the spine, accomplishing pretty much the similar thing to kind of push that upper part of the spine up and back in, but not too aggressively, and just lay here for a minute or two, again at the end of the day, to help push everything back into alignment. Now, if you're finding you're making progress and you want to increase the stretch, a lot of my patients will opt to go to a foam roller. Now, these foam rollers can be very, very stiff, so you want to be careful when you get on these things. And so I can get my hips on it, and I can get the top of my neck on it, and I can even inch up here and just kind of allow my head to come back in extension. And you can just let your head kind of extend over, but again, you don't want to pinch it too much, but this will help push your spine up and in as well. Bring your arms out to the side for a great stretch. At the end of the day, spend 2 to 5 minutes in this position, and this will help put everything back into alignment. All right, so we've talked about an easy way to be able to just at the end of the day get some work done and go into an extension position, as well as some passive devices which you can lay on and also stretch. But what about when you're sleeping? You spend a lot of time sleeping, about a third of your life in bed, supposedly getting ready to go to sleep and getting some sleep. So how does your pillow impact that hump? Well, when you take a look at it, a lot of people who lay on their backs or back sleepers stack pillows up, and sometimes they get the big fluffy pillows because they're soft and they are actually too big for their sleeping position. So when they lay on their back, their head could be actually coming up way too far in flexion and not far enough in extension. And that can be a problem when you're sleeping and you're trying to get rid of that hump again, because this is causing shortening of the ligaments and the muscles on the front of your neck, and stretching and lengthening of the muscles and tendons and ligaments on the back of your neck. That's really important, because if you're spending a third of your life in a flexed position when you're sleeping, and then a third of your life at a desk when you're flexed forward with the head flexed forward, and then you're not getting out and being as active as you want, and maybe you're sitting in the couch in a flexed forward position watching TV, that's a lot of flexion. That's going to cause these rounded shoulders and that hump in the upper part of your back. So you want to spend as much time in the opposite position as you can to undo some of that stress. So if you're looking at pillows specifically for back sleepers, you want actually a thinner pillow. And this is really important because a lot of my patients who have this forward head posture, this dowager's hump, this kyphosis in their back, some of them are older and they've already started to form arthritis. It's gone past the fatty deposits. and they feel like it's irreversible, because when they go on a thinner pillow, when they go back on their back, their head just stays here because their shoulders are stuck this way and they can't go back further. So for that person, they may try to go to a thinner pillow and actually have problems. So if you're trying to gradually start off from having that big pillow behind your neck and go down to help improve the posture, your sleeping posture, this pillow comes with several layers to it, as you can see here, 4 layers. So you can start up here at the highest setting, which again is not ideal to start at that flex position, but then you can just take out a layer and have the head go further and further back until you're at that flat, almost flat laying position, still with, as you can see, these have a cervical curve to the pillow, both on the upper part and the lower part. So a gradual curve or a gradual curve down here and more of an intense curve up there, to be able to keep that natural curve in the neck, support the neck without pushing your head too far forward. So many of my patients who are back sleepers will go down to 2 layers, take out the middle 2 layers and go down to 2 layers, and in their beds, if they've got a firm bed, have just the right support to keep their head in a neutral position. You can even go, I've had patients even go down to 1 layer on this pillow and still have the support you need through the neck without causing that natural curve to collapse throughout the night. So again, when you're looking for a pillow that supports your neck for back sleepers, you want that curve to support that natural bridge or spring, that C curve that we talked about earlier, but you don't want it pushing your head too far forward to cause extra strain on the back of the neck and shortening at the front of the spine. So if you're looking for a great pillow, I'll leave the link below down here. So again, a lot of these things you can do at home without any special devices, just simple changes of habit to help reverse that dowager's hump, that kyphosis in the upper part of the back, and be able to have great spine hygiene, again, with improving your sleeping posture at night. Hopefully this helps, and if you know someone who's struggling with this, pass this video along. I'm Dr. Pound, helping you heal better fast.